believe in feminism. I think that if men are willing to do more and do more, then they should make more. That's the first argument. Everybody's like, men shouldn't make more money than women. I don't want to be a carpenter. Get up for me. I want your seat. Like, there's no reason we should get rid of those pieces of chivalry all for feminism. I don't know. Like you said earlier, we're taking it too far. We're taking it too far. I think that there are certain positions in society that are comfortable for a woman. And when you start pushing the men out of the other positions, then the women have to step into the ones that are uncomfortable for women. And I'm not willing to do that.
The principle suggests equal compensation for equal contribution, which on paper makes sense. The challenge comes when expectations and outcomes stop aligning in practice. Once that gap widens, it becomes difficult to reconcile.
And it's not that I hate everything about feminism. I mean, obviously I'm here for equality, duh. However, I think that there are man-hating feminists and then there are feminists. I just think that those are two separate things, and I think the man-hating ones are corny. I think it's mad corny. I think it's mad weird. I think it's mad misandrist. And I make fun of that, because that's something to be made fun of. Just like a man being a misogynist. Other men should be like, that guy's a freaking weirdo. He hates women. There's something wrong with him. That's exactly what I'm doing in reverse. I'm calling out misogynists. Hey, there's something weird about this girl. She hates men. That's crazy. That should be called out, not applauded. I know that some of y'all are really, really hurt by some of the men in your life, but that does not mean that we applaud misandrists. That does not mean that we applaud misogynists. Nobody should be so hurt by the other gender that they are just rooting for their downfall and oppression. That's insane. That's insane. Neither gender is superior. We are two halves of the same coin, and we should work together in order for us to succeed or even continue on this planet. Why do I have to preach that to people? This is crazy.
There's a common claim that misandry isn't real, yet the double standards are often visible in everyday situations. When patterns repeat consistently, they become harder to dismiss. Over time, people adjust based on what they observe, not what they're told.
An uncomfortable conversation that needs to be had is that our generation has been raised by women who hate men. I'm not just talking about mothers, I'm talking about school teachers, I'm talking about therapists, anybody that played a role in a child's development. They have actively tried to teach us that masculinity is toxic, but the truth is, their negative experiences that they had with men were not of the nature of masculinity. It was the fact that the man himself was toxic, completely separate of masculinity. Now, obviously, there are a bunch of women who, don't hate men, but the problem is that academia and the media have been pushing this narrative to suppress masculinity and masculine traits such as assertiveness or leadership under the scope of them being dangerous. Men have been taught to feel ashamed of themselves and to respect women, but never what to do when a woman disrespects you. And this doesn't just have negative effects on men, it's women too. There are so many women of the younger generations that actively have this negative attitude towards men that's extremely prevalent, and anybody with an IQ above 5 understands this if they go out in public, where it's like they're very entitled and they're disrespectful towards men. And obviously it's not all of them, but it's something that needs to be addressed. And no, I don't think this makes me oppressed. I'm not throwing a pity party, but it is an issue that I believe that we need to address.
Masculinity is often discussed, but not always understood in context. There's a tendency to adopt certain traits while avoiding the responsibilities that come with them. That selective approach creates confusion rather than clarity.
Honestly, and I'm probably going to get eaten alive for saying this, I feel like a lot of women have forgotten their place. And we live in this inverted world, and I feel we got stuck in this whole feminism thing. Feminism is a scam, and now it's like trying to undo. It is. Feminism, I don't care what anybody says. Yes, we are equal in value, but we are not equal in traits. We are different. Men and women are different.
I agree with that.
And I'm so sick and tired of why are we fighting to be something that we're not? I am not a man. I will never be a man. And for those of you that make that decision, I love that for you. Period. But there are certain things that are just, y'all are stronger than we are. We are more detail oriented than you are. There are certain traits that we naturally got from God based on the gender that we are. And it's all based on survival. It's all based on human nature. And so I feel like a lot of women, not all women, but most women have forgotten their place.
Within themselves,
within the order of family, within the order, even like with God. You know, if you just want to start blanketing statements like, now this is the thing. If you are a masculine woman, that's fine. But stop acting like you're feminine. If you want to be a boss, babe, I don't need no man. You go do you, boo. But stop teaching that that's the answer. Because I'm sick and tired of this divide of the family. I'm sick and tired of now good men, like, and I'm listening to like stories, right? Good men are getting lazy in dating. They're getting lazy in the pursuit because women are making either everything too easy or they're too hands off. So now what's the point in even trying to date a woman when you're the man that you want me to be?
Speaking openly about these topics often brings strong reactions. Not everyone is receptive to perspectives that challenge the current narrative. That response alone says a lot about the environment.
Feminism is a scam.
Feminism is a scam. I do not want to be independent. I want to be so codependent. I need my husband. I want my husband. I want to follow his lead. That's how God created me. He created me in a way to follow. He created me as a helpmate. He created me as the opposite to Adam, right? If women could be a woman, if women acted like women
instead of men,
because
they're acting like men,
we'd have better men.
Awareness tends to come after certain patterns play out fully. By that point, the dynamics have already shifted and responses change accordingly. Timing often determines how those realizations are received.
Nothing irritates me more than a man. The end. Whoever fought for women to get jobs. Why? Why did we do that? I am so tired. I want to just put my feet up. Like, oh my God. Notice she said we. Why did we fight for the right to work? So nothing irritates you more than feminism. Modern feminism. Because it's not men that did that to us.
This is what's so ironic about the feminist movement. The things that feminists will hate men for, they're just so ambitious and they don't care about their families and they're never home, or all men, they just sleep around, they're so promiscuous. The things that feminists hate men for, they're also telling women, you should do these things to feel fulfillment. So they're hating on men for this stuff and also saying we need to be equal to men. It's like, do you hate them or do you want to be equal to them? They're telling women, you need to be less relational. You need to care less about your babies and care more about your career. In 1916, you had Margaret Sanger. She introduced the contraceptive pill. She was now telling women, you don't have to be a slave to these children of yours. I can have sex with whoever I want to, as much as I want to, and there will not be the burden of children. So they're hating on men for this stuff, but also saying we need to be equal to men. It's like, do you hate them or do you want to be equal to them? Like, what's going on here?
The original idea was centered around equality, but the application has shifted over time. In some cases, it's less about balance and more about positioning. That shift tends to change how people interpret the message.
How have people still not realize that feminism is a sham? It's a scam. I'm telling you, it is a robbery. It's robbery of womanhood. Because my thing is like, everything they push for is opposite of what actually truly makes women happy and fulfilled. And I'm just like, how are people not seeing that? It's sad because people don't realize it until later on in their 40s, 50s, when they're single, they have no children, no family, and they were taught and pushed that in their 20s, they should be going out, they should be meeting as many partners as they can, experiencing life, enjoying and doing all of that. But then it's like, it becomes harder to have children. It becomes harder to settle down and get married. I'm not saying that it's impossible and no one can't, but it's true, like in your 20s, it's easier to meet somebody and to start settling down and getting married. Like as you get older, those things get harder. But it's like we're pushed to pursue career and selfish desires in our 20s. And then as we get older and mature, it's like that's when we should start thinking about that.
Some decisions lead people away from experiences they may have valued later on. Reflection often happens after the fact, once outcomes are clearer. That's when perspective tends to shift the most.
Feminism is a scam. I don't care how educated I am, how smart I am, how much money I make. I will always be a traditional conservative woman. I am not a feminist. I cannot do, and nor do I desire to do everything that a man does. And I believe feminism was the breakdown of the American family unit. Somehow have this belief that if they are successful and educated, that somehow that means that they don't need a man. And the reality is men need women and women need men. And I will die on that hill. When I say traditional family values, I do mean husband, wife, kids. Absolutely be beautiful, smart, educated, and you can also be an amazing wife, an amazing mother. I think it's time for us to bring back traditional family values. So no, I'm absolutely not only conservative when it comes to politics, I'm also conservative when it comes to traditional family values.
Family structures and long-term relationships have changed significantly over time. Priorities have shifted in ways that affect both individuals and broader outcomes. Those changes tend to show up gradually, not all at once. If the message hit, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.